Yes, I love hairdressing. I'm a hairdresser's junkie. I love education and I love being involved in every which way. And yes, I only know one way, and that's flat out. And I don't know anything about any other way. But it's one of those things, and it just drives and keeps me fresh and keeps me going, and it just keeps me in what I do. I actually did get off a plane from London last night. I was in London and I just won the AIPP. Does everyone know who the AIPP is? So it's the Association of International Press, and I won Best Photographic Collection. Wow. So a little bit about Heading Out. Heading Out is a group of, we have 5 salons with a team of about 70 staff and our training academy, and it is a team. We have a team of people that work in our stores as well as our academy, and I have an artistic team that works very, very closely with me that are on the road running around doing all different events. But then I also have a team that work here in the academy that do my education here, teach our students, but also our advanced classes, because we do run advanced classes through the academy. And so we all work closely together when we're together across lots of different areas. But I'm one of these people that, I'm ambassador for L'Oreal, so I do fashion weeks, photo shoots, and I have been privileged now in the last 2 years to do 2 L'Oreal trophy shows, one in Taiwan and one in Malaysia. So it's a great, to put on a big show on a big scale with, I think it was $1 million budget, is, what everyone dreams about. And it's, it's great to be able to do those things. They come at a cost. It means that we work for 3 months here at the academy till midnight preparing. So, the salon still goes on, and what the thing is with me is what I do, my photographic is great, but it's still about salon, it's still about bums on seats, and it's also about educating and growing the team and growing the young. So it's all of those things, and that's what makes it go, because everything's given so much to me, but I need to give it back, and that's one reason why we opened our academy, is to give back to the industry what it's given to us. Anthony Martino, who's the founder of Heading Out, he was the gentleman that gave me the light and showed me the way. So, he's the mentor and the brain behind it, and I'm the artistic front lady that does, all the work. But Anthony is the businessman behind it that keeps me on the straight and narrow, because I'm the spender, as he says. Damn it. But today, what we're going to do today is we're going to do some colour work on stage. We're going to do some cuts. I'm going to do some styling as well. I'm also going to show you a couple of models that I've done from Malaysia, some of my showpieces, because they're still so fresh, and I think when you do something so spectacular, and we've got them, I wanted to show them off, so I hope you like. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to Adrian, most of our private cutting classes here at the academy, and also does education for L'Oreal, and does classes for L'Oreal around Australia. So this is Adrian, and he's going to be doing some cuts for us today. And also bring up Kieran, just quickly while I have him. Kieran is one of my artistic team. He comes around on the road. He's been to Taiwan and Malaysia with me, so he knows all about putting on a big show and what a lot of pressure it's about. Be nice. Some styling a bit later on, so you can see some of his skills at work as well, and talk through some of the things we've got for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring out some models out for you. So what I've got here, Adrian has cut this already for me, and I'm going to do some colour. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what we've had to do here, if I spin our lovely model around. And what we basically, when I arrived here this morning, we had a base shade, it was already pre-coloured, a base shade of about 4 to 5 all over. So I've done a quick, gentle cleanse all the way through, just to lift it off and break it down. And as you can imagine, when we do that, if I lean it forward, you do a bit of a gentle cleanse, it cleanses off as it feels like, basically. It's not too bad, it's not bad, it's got a nice wall. I didn't want it to be too light, I just wanted to lift it, and you can see obviously on the ends there's still a little bit of a build-up of colour on the ends. But I don't really mind it with working with Adrian's haircut, because it's, and he'll talk you through, but it's quite a textured haircut and it's got a bit of movement. Basically, all this is about is still keeping texture, rather than being balayage or ombre. So all I've done is cleansed it, and I've gone through and I've just put some foils, some pretty lightened foils, and I've just used Platinum 30 volt, Platinum Blue. Do you use Platinum? Yes. Okay. I thought so. Platinum 30, and I've just gone through and I've just dropped it from the roots. I've done some angled sections, working just in the nape of the back of the head, and I'm going to work around the face line, and again angled section. And as I've done my angled foils that I've pre-lightened, again haven't gone right up to the roots, but also still painted on an angle. Okay? Because what I hate is, you know, when you pick up a foil and if I turn that this way, you can see, and it goes like this, okay? And the haircut's going that way, all right? So that's one of the key. It's a simple thing, but it's amazing how many times, you know, if you're getting someone to do your colour work and you blink and turn around and go, uh-oh, yeah, and it's on the wrong way. And I think it's important, you know, when you can. You know, and in the salon, you know yourself, everyone says, oh, it'd be great if you could cut the hair first and colour afterwards. But that's not really practical, only if you're taking great lengths off. But luckily enough, this is what I've got to work with now, so I can work with Adrian's haircut. So I've just put a few foils around the front, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a global colour to even this out, but I do want it to be quite textured. It's going to be, you can call it an orange peel, or you can call it a beach ball. So it's basically going to start from the top, and we're going to work using two colours, work all our way around, so that when the hair is styled, that the colours will mix in together, and we'll have light pieces coming through. It'll be soft, it'll be fashionable, and it'll be something quite commercial, because it means that a client can come in and have a global, we can add foils or subtract foils whenever you feel like, and that's really important. I'm going to go ahead and start mixing, and I'll talk to you a bit more about my sectioning pattern, and I better let Adrian have something to say.
Well, what the collection is that we've actually come up with is, because we wanted you to be able to go back to the US and actually incorporate it into your salon portfolio and actually being able to explain it really easy to your clients. Everything is condensed down with the haircuts, probably into about 3 sections. They might be unusual sections, they might be quite graphic, but it's just the way that we execute them and the techniques that we actually use. Whether we use a deep point cutting technique, whether we use a solid blunt line technique. So also with the colour work that Katerina's doing. And also these have got some of the haircuts that we're actually doing, they've got a bit of a 60s influence coming back as well. So I'll explain to you once actually Katerina's completed her colour, that will actually go away and that will actually be dressed and everything, and then I can explain you a little bit more about the haircut. This is my model, Jackie. Jackie is one of our members of staff, and she's got long hair, and we said, okay, you don't have long hair anymore, it's coming off. You know, like what it's doing when you're doing presentations, that's it. It's not going short, I dare, she'll kill me. Absolutely kill me. So what we're going to do with Jackie is we're actually going to work quite solidly around the front, around the front area, around the fringe area. Really soft, really open the cheekbones. She's got a really, really beautiful face, really gorgeous long neckline. But I don't want to lose too much length. When we get clients that come in and say, I want something really different, but I don't want it too short. Actually now, this length is now the new long hair. We don't have hair down here anymore. It's not straightened within an inch of its life, so it's like, you know, like elastic when you pull it when it's wet. Or do it, I'm not sure. And now also, you know, like all the different waving techniques, whether it be like water, whether it just be like waving, brushing out, or things like that, whether it be really curly texture done with styling irons, whether it be hot tonguing or whatever. Once we actually get to this level, we can actually alter it and change it into so many different looks, but we actually need to have that basic foundation of our haircut for anything to be able to work. So, I've done all head sheets for you, which you'll actually get later on. The 2 haircuts that I'm going to do one haircut, Katerina's going to do the other haircut, and then this afternoon you'll be able to do one or the other, or both of them if you're really quick or whatever. I'm not quick. No, I'm not quick. I'm probably the slowest hairdresser in the world, but I'm not.
If I let him.
So you've all got head sheets and everything. Katerina's going to talk to you a little bit more about the colour on Jackie once this is actually dressed down. So literally, it literally is just a square-shaped section just taken through here. I'm going to show you actually, and then from the square section, it's just a triangle pointed, just sit underneath the oxide floor level. It's basically two triangular sections with a square section or a cube section or whichever you prefer to call it. We're going to use a deep point cutting technique through it. Lengthwise, we're going to end up probably round about here-ish, but lots and lots of texture, lots of movement, lots of free expression work that it can actually be. If Jackie was to actually just put some, say some curl corset through there with some mythic oil as a base to work on, it would work really, really well and dry it naturally. She could straighten it to within an inch of its life and it would look really good. She could sprax it using a spray wax and actually get really strong texture. It could be actually waved. It could look really nice in either way. But it's just a basic hair.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just put this. Okay. So what I've done, I'll just get your name forward. So what I've done is I've taken a zigzag pattern across the top. The top is quite textured and short, as you saw that. So I'm going to keep that as a little bit of a veil. Because you imagine like a top of a beach ball, that could look quite funny. So I've taken the top bit, like of the sprout, away, so that will blend and feather that round. Now, as I imagine a beach ball in orange, I haven't done it symmetrically. It's got to be a little bit more fashion orientated so that it will blend. I'm going to go all the way through. When I come to the fringe, and I haven't sectioned the fringe off, but I will have that a little bit more angled and a bit finer through the fringe, so I get a little bit more finer through there, but I'll work that as I go rather than section that off. But as you can see, if I spin my young lady around, so I've just got sections working through, and I'm just using foils, and I just use one foil and then paint it through, so it can be quite quick. Doesn't have to, because it's obviously, basically most of the time you have like 45 minutes, an hour max to get a colour on. So everything has to be always worked in that time slot, because otherwise clients don't like it and it's not efficient. So it needs to be efficient. So I always try to work things into those time slots, 45 minutes to an hour. So that we can make it productive, and it needs to be. So you need to simplify things or work it out so that it can be a good way of doing it. Is a Noah. So what I've used a quarter of 6.3 and 3/4 of 645 a Noah, right, in one. And in the other I've done a quarter of 5.3 and a quarter of 5.45. Okay, so just one shade difference. And I've obviously put a little bit of base in because you can tell that the roots are slightly lighter. And it's not going to be the great thing about a Noah is it gives it beautiful, beautiful gloss and shine.
What I've done, like just on this section, just through here, all we're doing is we're just working on a vertical angle and actually just extending it just all the way up to basically a 90-degree angle, and just using a really, really soft point cut, half the section take another section, extend it into that area through there, same idea, up to a 90-degree angle. So what we're actually going to end up doing, we're going to go from a shorter point to a longer point, so that when it actually comes out, we're actually going to build a triangular shape through here. Then what we're going to do, we're going to do exactly the same on the opposite side, and then I'm just going to do a really, really soft razoring technique just to keep my baseline just really nice and free. I don't want it to be solid. Sometimes what we do is we go through, we put a baseline in, and then we go through and we layer it, and then we've got a really thick baseline and we've got no movement in there. So if we do decide that we're going to curl it, wave it, whatever we want to do, even when we hair up, even if we do a hair up, we've just got like really, really strong ends, and it just sits a little bit. So I just prefer to actually like go through, do my layering pattern and internal work first, and then go through and work externally after that. It's a really simple sectioning pattern, this. The most important one is probably this area through here, because this area through here we actually cut on a horizontal. So it's just showing you that we can actually work on a vertical and a horizontal in the same haircut, rather than it just being a uniform like rounded layer or whatever, and just working on lots of different textures. We all know that you can cut hair. This is just a thing about executing different techniques to get a different look. I'm actually doing something called a weaving razor technique, so that we actually get like different levels. So when we actually go in with the razor, it's literally like weaving a foil. So you would actually like extend your length in your fingers, go in, weave your razor in, like just stroke the razor down, elevate it a little bit, and then take a little bit off. And then what that's going to do, and especially because Jackie's got like really strong Asian hair, it just gives you that seamless softness that's going to like have movement to it. Just creature. What we've done is we've actually just gone through the opposite way. So we've done it on a vertical. We've actually just gone through and checked it on the horizontal line. What I find is also, because we've actually gone shorter here, it actually flattens it into the face, and then we'll get this really, really nice, nice movement through the back. We're going to move on to the fringe area now. The fringe area in this is actually going to be really, really, really strong. So it's going to be really, really heavy, quite long, really textural. And I'm going to do a mix of using a razor and also doing fundamental cutting techniques with my scissors. But I want to match the texture. I don't want it to be too. This area here, this is being cut, so because Jackie's got a really jumpy fringe.
So you're going to adjust the temperature and have to go back studio.
The reason why you can't use your razor as a pair of scissors. So you can still get a blunt appeal from your razor. You don't have to, like stroke it and thin it out and whatever. You can actually just use your fingers, whether you're layering, whether you peel razor in, whatever you're doing, you can use your razor as just a softness, and on Asian hair, that is what you need. I think every single Asian haircut should be done with either a razor or whatever. You shouldn't even really touch it with a pair of scissors, only just to refine any definitions that you're going to put in. And I've cut Jackie's hair a few times, so
Makes it a little easier.
It makes it a bit easier. So literally, it's just extended into your fingers, and then you actually just. You still want it to be like nice and blunt and really, really shattered, but want it to be really different as well. Don't want it to just be like a. And also, like we have the rule that we don't ever extend the fringe past the corner of the eyebrow. But with this one I want to, because I really want to open Jackie's cheekbone, so I actually want to go a little bit deeper. Also, when you're actually doing a fringe, one of the biggest things that I actually teach as well, your section should always mirror image the shape of fringe that you're actually cutting. So if you're doing just a straight fringe, your sectioning should be straight. If you're doing a bow fringe, your section should be in the shape of a bow. If you're doing, even when you're doing the side fringe, even when you're doing like an elongated fringe, you like to go across to the side, you should always section it off that way, and it should follow the diagonal whichever way it's actually going. That's the way that I actually edge it. So we've done that first section through there. Then even though this is actually done to a triangle, you will still always take just a horizontal straight across the top of the head. Watch it actually fall to natural fall. And I also do it in really, really fine sections. I'm not one of these people that will just do it in one section and then refine it. I like most of my haircuts to be completed so that I don't have too much refining to do. I'll just explain to you what I just did. So the fringe basically now, the length and everything and the refined line is what I want. I want it really soft. I don't want it to be like too blown. When you see the blow dry, then you'll understand. It's going to be movable. The way that Jackie moves the head, it's just going to go back into shape. What I do when I've actually done it is I do like a roll graduation technique, but I do it with a razor. And it's just like a little bit of the peeling technique, which just gives us some softness. So all you do is just a centralized section. And it literally is just so that you get that real nice connection and you get that little bit of movement. It's just elevated, and then literally just with the thumb and the point of your razor, for those that and it's just like a little bit, it's like you're peeling an orange or peeling an apple. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move into this this cube section through the top. We must call it cube.
Okay, so all done. As you can see, that wasn't too bad. Timing. Trying to work quite quickly, but just working forward is really important so that if I spin my lovely model around, you can see it just layers upon itself, and that's what keeps it quick. So you don't want to move in different directions. So I sort of work from this side all the way forward, and then the front I just move forward, and then continue around the harder, and then the top, just a bit like a sprout, I call it. So the colour's just sprouting out. So dark on the roots and slightly the lighter shade on the end, and we'll just process that through. And then when we're, with dry emulsifying, obviously you just blend it ever so slightly so to make sure. But it's with only one shade, so you're not going to look striking by any means, because it's only a shade. It's just going to be...
Yeah, and now we're just going to move into a weave razoring technique again. So it's extended out. We have this section on the underneath here, which is our guideline. We're actually just going to extend it out, weave our section, stroke our razor, and then just finish off, which is actually just going to give us some really, really nice textural movement through here. And then that is actually going to be our guide section, but with like a slightly higher elevation, the more that we move up to the middle crown area. Slightly.
Adrian, what did you use to determine your guide in that first section?
The underneath section through here. So you know that, so you've cut on the vertical, so now it's this section through here. So when we actually...
Sorry, I didn't see the correlation.
So we've actually, this is on the vertical, and then what we're using it high elevation. So as we extend it now, you can actually see it on the underneath. Yeah. We only want it to be really soft, and we want it to float away. So it's actually just like, walk through like that.
So some areas might overlap that.
Yes. It's meant to be really textural. Because you can see we're getting that real nice rounded shape, and then this is going to kick in, and then we're just going to refine around here. I just wanted to show you something like just a little bit different, that's all, rather than you all cut hair. It's not like reinventing the wheel, but it's just nice to get different techniques. We've got strong haircuts tomorrow. So for those on this side, so what we do is we actually extend out. This is our guideline through the front area. So it's on a horizontal, extended out to our body. And then we go through, we start to drop away. We go weave, get rid of the underneath area, let it start to fall away, and then come through the front. And it actually ends up like a bit of a flower.
Kieran, everybody, so Kieran's going to do some styling for you on something that we've been working with for the races at the moment. We sponsor, God recently we went out to Caulfield yesterday. Karen was taking my job for me yesterday. Thank you, Karen. So we sponsored the Caulfield races and we're working with doing parades, and obviously a big thing for us is you have to work with hats. So every hairstyle you have to do has to have a hat.
Yeah.
And it's got to be able to go out in our lovely Melbourne weather. So it's got to be fashionable and versatile and still hold up to the wind. So we came up with this lovely style, and I'll let Kieran go ahead. Kieran, all yours.
Great. So this is a style that we got inspired from the latest Louis Vuitton 2012 Ready to Wear collection. And in that, it's a lot smoother and a lot more very, very 60s, very beehive-esque. And I just wanted to push it a little bit today and use our beautiful model's natural texture and use her curl. So what I've done is through the back, just to spin around. Because she's got so much hair and it's so long and so thick, braided it away. I braided that really flat and then just pinned that into a really nice shape through the back there, just to get rid of the bulk. It's also going to serve us a purpose that we can pin into it as well when we need to. What I'm doing is what we call a texture set, where we go in and we backcomb the roots, and I've just spread it with the Infineon 2, just to give it a little bit of grit and a bit of hold, and then I'm just ironing over that. And what that's going to do, that's going to set that in that fluffy texture. But through the front, what I've done is I've left out a veil of her natural curl, because I really, really like it. It's an incredible curl. So why waste it? Why smooth it out? Why get rid of it? Use it. And so then once I've gone through and I've backcombed all of this, I'll actually brush the backcombing out, and that will serve like padding without having to put big chunks of padding in there.
We're just moving into the final section now, which is section D. So I've actually done this side. So I'll show you on this side because it's actually easier to show you on this side, and then I haven't got my back to you. So what we basically do is we drop out the triangle, and all we're looking for now is we're looking for a connection in the shape. So it's a high elevation through here. You've got your length already, and we've actually started to, and it literally is just cleaning it, but actually swinging the razor so that we actually just get that real nice softness working with the texture. It's done on a vertical, it's just done on a vertical section. As you actually pull it out, this is the hair in the triangle. This is your guideline through here, and this is actually what you're trying to connect to. But we don't want to just take it off, we actually want to actually keep it like quite movable, because that makes the haircut a lot more seamless when it's actually finished and dry. I like to work on my haircuts until they're like basically dry, so I don't have a lot of glow waving to do. But then I don't know whether, like in Australia, a lot of people are still wanting like the really big 4 or 5 day blow waves. Not that it takes 4 or 5 days to do it, that they want it to. Some of mine do take a long time.
Some of your blow away.
Are you directing to the centre?
I'm just actually like looking for my guide through here, because if you remember, the triangle's actually in the centre, so it is actually just going back to the point of the triangle. What I'm doing is I'm not going to release any more weight from here. So I'm going to keep what I've got here, but just got that real softness. And the colour's actually coming out beautifully now. Katerina will explain to you about the colour when it's dry, and when we've actually just refined it and it's actually showcased to you.
So I've pre-done all the underneath, and now I'm just going to go through it and just brush it out. And I find it's easiest to go, like, keep the sections really clean as you're back combing and as you're texture setting. Just make life much easier when you're coming to brush it out. So see how that just fattens up that root area? You can still get your hands through there.
Literally all I'm doing now is I always go through my razor cuts when I've done it, just with a pair of scissors, just to make sure that everything that I've done is not, it's just got that refined line. And then I know that if Jackie actually doesn't blow away this and she gets something, she just puts some, whatever she decides that she wants to use in it, that she's going to have some sort of texture. You know, like if people go swimming with the kids or whatever, you just know that when they get out of the swimming pool that they've got something that's going to be all right, that they can go on across the line with if it's just drip dried. So we're going to take Jackie away and get her all. And then Caterina's going to show you another haircut. This will all be dried off and everything, and then we'll bring her back and I'll talk to you about the colour, and then I'll talk to you about Ashley's haircut. Good. Good. Very much.
Here, just to push the shape and give it even more volume, is I have loosely backcombed it with just a really super wide rake, just to give it a bit more guts. And then the pinning that I've done is, I don't like crossing pins at all, because they stick out, they get in the way, you put one in the wrong way and you keep going, and you think, oh no, put that one in the wrong place, and you can't take that, you've got to take them all out to get back to it. So we put them in parallel with each other and next to each other. And then from the right-hand side moving over to the left moving over to the right, so that they lock in. So now what I'm doing, because I want to tuck the back of this up, I'm just tying it all up just with an elastic, and then I'm going to tuck it in under itself and just get rid of it.
Once we've cut it, it'll actually soften off quite a lot. So it's always when I first walked in, I was like, okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a razoring technique, and we're going to, using S formations, so all the sections that are going to be throughout this haircut are going to be curved, okay, rather than being really straight, and we're going to curve them all around the head. And it's basically so that way when we razor it through, it'll just blend in, long and short will blend in nicely together, and it'll be one of these styles that she can just add her product in and just dry it off quite naturally and let the colour be quite natural and soft and work with her own texture, and it'll be a lot shorter. Quite a strong fringe in here as well, which I'm going to soften the fringe and work with crystal shade. So it's going to be a lot shorter on the top, with a little bit of texture coming all the way through, but this will be all a razoring technique. And you can see that the section patterns that we have on here are quite curved and S formation, so we can pass that around. So we'll be working around.
So what I've done to secure this in, I've actually used U-pins. We tend to use a lot more U-pins than we do bobby pins. We build our base with bobby pins, and then we build our shape with the U-pins. And so I've just gone in and pinned into that and pushed that into that spine that I've built in there. So that helps to hold them all in place. The other thing that I hate is seeing pins. People don't come to you to pay you to do their hair so that you can see 5,000 pins. Yeah? And often you need a pin right there. But if you just put that in there, that's going to stick out. Yeah? So the best way to do this, and Katarina taught me this,
This is my favourite trick in the world.
is just coming backwards. So with the bent end, coming back, pulling that through, and then pulling the pin almost out. Not all the way up, but almost out. And then just pushing that back in, and it disappears.
Invisible pin.
And
Invisible pin.
you'll never see it.
Yeah, it's called a visible pin. And we can show you that again later, up close and personal. Well, you need, yeah, you need to know it.
Just coming in and going in. And just goes. Good. So what I'm doing is I don't want the curl to sit in big chunky ringlets. I want it to be a little bit softer. So I'm just picking the curl up as I go and just really loosely pulling it apart and seeing how it works and keeping on going. And then just draping it over the shape. And because I'm not entirely sure how these pieces are going to sit, just by using really long U-pins, just chuck that in there and just leave it there. It's not going to stay there, you're going to take it out. And it's just going to hold that all together so that you can keep going, build your hairspray in there, and then at the end go, alright, that's all sitting good, and put your securing pin in there. Dousing it in hairspray, and this just helps to get in those fun fluffy bits that everybody loves dealing with around the face all the time, especially with this sort of hair texture, and then just really bringing out the part. But I want it to look like it's all just been swept back.
Now, as I'm coming, I'm following my section around to the side, just following the nice curved section through here. This time when I'm coming towards, but I will over direct this back.
Just creature.
Wrapping around part of the bobby pin so that it's not going anywhere. And just pushing that in.
and as you can see, a lot of the colour is looking much better now. That I'm losing a lot of that really, really fluorescent colour on the ends, but we'll have just tiny little flashes of it working through. Is there other colour mold?
Wow.
There we go.
I've worked my way using my nice S sections all the way around the head, okay, and just cutting it, not having a perfect guide all the way through, so it's disconnected nearly every section is slightly disconnected all the way up through the head. As I've come around the front, I need to dry this. As I've come around the front into the fringe, I've over-directed it across, and I've just worked my way through, and then through the top, the technique that Adrian was showing you was weaving with my razor. So weaving and slicing through, working, and just work randomly all the way through the top. And as you can see, I'm just working the product. I'm just using my fingers and just working the texture and just pushing it. Now I could let this naturally dry if I want to, but I'm not, because I want to dry it a little bit more. I want to dry it to create the shape, but it's basically just very, very soft, textured shape. Easy to wear and very quick, very quick to cut. It didn't take me very, very long to do. Very, very short, shaggy, and just lots of fun, lots of texture. And I believe lots of texture is very good. And you can see the colour really blending through now, whereas before it was very stripy for me. And now that it's cut, you can't really see the blends of colour, and that's really what we need to do.
So this is obviously stud piece.
Can we go that way, darling?
And the one thing that Katerina has us do is when we're out and about in stores or anywhere, we're constantly looking for different things that we can use in hair in different ways. And one thing that we found, that someone found in a piercing and tattoo store, were these amazing metal spikes. We thought, well, how can we use everything? You have no idea the amount of stuff that we've brought in and gone, can we use it? No, yes we can. Or we can use that sort of... Yeah, absolutely. You should see the basement. So what we did, it's just, it blows me away every
It looks
single
like
time.
a Giuseppe Zanotti shoe.
It does. It really, really does.
Okay.
Looks like a Giuseppe Zanotti shoe.
So as you can imagine, working colours, the pastel colours that were very, very in, were really, really in. We really wanted to use some beautiful bright colours. And obviously one of the main things that I'm renowned for is colour. And one of the key things that I wanted to do when I went to Taiwan is I knew that the other salons, for me it's always about have to be impactful, but I knew that they were going to do very, very big things, and I wanted to do strong colour with an impactful shape. And you can see it is quite an amazing shape working through there. So this is a hairstyle that I'm going to finish off here. This is something that we did for L'Oreal Fashion Week this year, and this is for Dita Von Teese, and we call this Betty Boot, but it's basically a chignon at the front, and the hair's all been worked forward. And we've got ponytails in here, padding, and we've got extension pieces, and worked that all the way through the front. And just work the hair up into shape and made it work. work for you really, really nicely. But when we're in Malaysia, we obviously, and Adrian, perhaps you're, in Malaysia, one of my key things that I love is butterflies. Alexandra McQueen gets amazing butterflies. And I found these in, I was doing a photo shoot for Rush magazine, and while we were waiting for the models, I found this little shop that had these butterflies.
See what I mean by always on the lookout?
Yeah, and we bejangled them because they were playing, and we had to add more to them. And so we've just and what I've, with hair and accessories, you can just do it. Pardon? Yeah. In actual fact, when I did this and I showed Grace that we did in Malaysia, she said to me, she goes, Katerina, you need to do this on a model and go to the races. The editors would go crazy. But as you can see, you just create.
So when we were in Malaysia, we did the show one day, and then the next day we had a seminar, which is, and so because we'd been doing the shows from about 6 in the morning, and then we didn't get back to the hotel about 3 o'clock the following morning. So we were both really exhausted. We're packing down the room and packing the kit for the next day. So we get to the venue of the seminar, and we're unpacking everything. And Katerina says, all right, so where's the orange wings butterflies? I went, you packed it last night, didn't you? And she said, where's the orange wings and butterflies? And so I said, all right, it's not here, we're going to have to do something else. So that's how this shape evolved with the butterflies.
Literally, 20 minutes before the seminar.
Yeah. So then we're packing up. So we're packing up.
Finished,
Alright.
all over done.
And so we're lifting towels and lift up a towel. And the butterfly wig box was there the whole time underneath the towel.
On the bench.
On bench.
On the bench.
In front, in Katerina's workstation. Just saying.
I love it. But because I didn't have that beautiful orange wig, I had to create, and this is what I created. So I said, right, this is what we're going to do, and I quickly put this together, and I just put the butterflies on that. And I think it's one of my favourites, as you can see, to stand up. Yeah, you and me. And it just looks so spectacular and beautiful. And it's just, those butterflies were, on a string hanging or something. I just cut them off and bejangled them and bobbed them through, and it works really beautiful.
So remember we cut Jackie, so we've literally just done like a really, sorry, we've literally just done like a really soft blow wave in there. Actually just iron the fringe just very slightly. So all I wanted to do is I just wanted to show you like the connection that we've got with all the like short areas that we cut in. And it's just movable texture with your fingers. You can create whatever shape that you actually want to do. You can see when you've done your floating razor cutting that how it actually like works out. It's seamless. It moves. If Jackie left this, like to go like wavy or whatever, it'll just have like a really nice curl. If she wears it up, it's really soft. And then Katerina's going to explain to you about the colour. Hope you like it.
Now, what we've done with Jackie is that we've done horseshoe sections that are all zigzagged through, and we put the foils in the zigzags as we've gone through. So the global colour is a NOAA 4.3 and 435 with 20 vol. The panels are Magi Mesh and 30 vol, and we've lightened them to an orange undertone. Okay, and then we've toned it with Dear Light, so with 535 and 552, and an inch of copper concentrate in there as well. Very nice. And just as you can see, it's just really warm, chopped, very commercial, and it works great with Adrian's haircut. And just, again, simple sectioning pattern. There's just a choice of colour that works well with the haircut. And
This
then
colour's
Adrian,
beautiful.
and this is the colour when you talk about the haircut.
So before you saw Shay's hair, I keep calling it Ashy, and I can't get Ashy out of my head, her name's Shay. You saw the haircut before, that was in its rawest state. So all we've actually done with the haircut, it literally is, because everything we were working in, I was saying to you that we're going to work in 3 sections. So it was literally from the ear area up to the crown area, dropped down to just below the occipital bone, extended up to the other side, and just dropped down. So what you've actually ended up with is like that sort of shape through there. What we did with the other one, it was pulled forwards and we cut it on a 90-degree level, just point cutting. The difference, what I wanted to do with this is I wanted to get rid of the part of this haircut. This was meant to be like a quite 60s inspired, a bit like sort of like a trendy bouffant type thing, but with the really nice short fringe coming back in that's got texture. It's not got like just a blunt line. So what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to expose and actually get rid of a lot of the hair there. So the way that the actual haircut was, we came from the V area and it was extended through here, and this was actually pulled back, so that was your focal point there. And then the opposite side, so I wanted to keep some length in here because Shay actually wears hair extensions. Once we've actually completed that part of the haircut, we actually took it back and actually just clipped it away, so it was completely disconnected. So all we were left were with the front area through here. And then all we actually did is I put my fringe line in, just very, very softly, put a layering pattern again rather than going in and cutting a fringe in, and then literally just did a rounded graduation through here, even including through here. So everything then is rounded, so when it's actually dressed out, if you actually push it in there, it's a rounded shape through there, then flicking out into some like just really, really nice, soft, beautiful. The fringe works really, really well. She's got that really nice texture through the top. The colour's really sort of like poured out the haircut and everything. And we've literally just gone through it with a wand and wrapped it round really quick, even all the way through the top area. Brushed the whole thing out. So it's completely brushed out. And then literally just gone in it with fingers, bit of hairspray, and lock in some spray shine. And that's basically it for this one. Hope you like it.
You can see, if I just get you the lean forward, sweetie, you can see the colour blend. It's all blended through. It's just evened it out nicely, given a really nice gloss, a little bit of that copper blend all the way through. The three lightened pieces of it. You've got some big shoulders, girl. I'm thinking you would.
I just did that.
Just blended it through, and it works really well with the haircut. Just having a few of those highlights through the hair, just breaking it up and just lightens it. And it's just, and you can see on something that has been cleansed, the Anoa works really, really beautifully, which works really well.